What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901. I am your host, Daniel Greer, and Nate will be joining me as he always does as we celebrate this victory tonight. The Grizzlies win. Finally, my God, last night, and honestly, every loss that we've done here has not been fun, but we're going to celebrate tonight. We're going to have a good time as we always do, but the Grizzlies do win 117 to 111 over the Philadelphia 76ers. This game honestly was very much kind of in the control of the Grizzlies, especially after that second quarter. The third quarter was pretty ugly in all honesty. And in the fourth quarter, they kind of got out a little bit more. But we saw Paul George go down. Joel Embiid went down, I think, 3 different times. I know he went back to the locker room. Towards the end of the game, he did come back out. He did finish. This game just overall just seemed like it was kind of all over the place. But I have a lot of thoughts on the 76ers because that looks weird over there in Philly. But we're going to get into all of that with Nate, but we're going to cover the game and break it down completely. We're going to get to a little Grizz trivia. And then from there, you know what it is. We're going to look ahead with Ryan. And so make sure you stay tuned all the way through. We have a fun show. If you're joining us on Twitter, thank you. But join us over on YouTube. Where everybody's hanging out. The chat is popping as it always is. So thank you all for the OGs that's here. But honestly, all the new people that join us each and every show. That's all we got. Hit the like button as I hit the show. What up, Nate? What up? Nope, you're on mute. See what happened? You're muted on the show.
You have me muted.
I didn't.
That was you. My mic is exactly where it is. I touch 0 buttons I don't normally touch. Your fault. Your fault. In spite of Taylor Jenkins, the Grizzlies pull away and win against the 76ers. Sorry, I love
TJ Truthers, man. You know, you just
in spite of Taylor Jenkins.
My God. I'm not literally not going to say his name on the show just because it's just dumb at this point.
Taylor?
But
just Taylor.
It's just stupid at this point. I love it. I love the Grizzlies. We're gonna build off of what we have been doing as we always do. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But the Grizzlies do win 117 to 111. I don't know if my internet is giving issues. It's telling me it's giving me issues, but I think I'm fluid. I think I'm synced right now. But if there's something that happens, just let me know. But I feel like I am in sync. Just let's not go bye. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. I'm going to look through the chat, but off the top, man, what you got?
Let's go back to this little number real quick. 44%. Guess what number that is?
That's 3-pointers tonight, I think.
Guess how much higher that is than last night?
I think that's 17%.
20.
No. Oh, God, dog.
We use round numbers here, but 20%. It helps when Desmond Bane looks like Desmond Bane. It helps when guys are making open shots.
Yeah.
And more than anything, it helps when guys show up with the full effort that's required to win a basketball game. They came out, even though there was a stretch where shots were not falling for them tonight,
right? But
they got stop after stop after stop until the shots started falling again because they had the exact kind of effort that needed to be had to do that. So it was good to see a bounce back. That was the kind of effort you want to see. Thank God we are not the 76ers. That is gross. I mean, it's what an unethical basketball team deserves, but
an unethical basketball team. Like that team, it's sad because they have so much talent. Like honestly, in that first quarter, I feel like they have like potential. Like potential is such a strong word that obviously gets thrown around. It's mainly around draft time, but like the potential word is there. Paul George doesn't look like himself. Joel Embiid,
he wasn't there.
He looks like his body's failing him, and he's he's like trying to still do all those moves. Like when I go back to my church league and I'm like, hey, I can do the spin move, step back, I'm good. And then I'm like, but why are you still on me? Like I usually do this move and you're gone, but you're still here guarding me. It feels like that with him, that he's just pushing people out of the way because he can't get away from people because that quick step is gone. And it's sad because I do like Joel Embiid as a player. I hate him as
disagree.
I like him. His game can be so good, but over the years he's kind of gone downhill where he's more whiny and more pushy. But I think that's kind of where the direction you were going.
That's why I don't like him.
Exactly.
He's an amazing basketball player. Right. And then it's just purely unethical ball.
Yeah.
Him, Jalen Brunson, he's not good enough for people to care, but Austin Reeves, I can't take it. I can't take it. Like we used to hate Trae Young and James Harden, and those guys are afterthoughts now with the likes of Embiid and Brunson around here. It's unethical basketball. 2-12.
I'm going to put this up.
And they don't even have a Yuki. They don't have a Yuki.
We sacrificed him last time.
There's no appeasing the basketball gods for that team.
No, there's not. And Keith's saying Luka's in the same convo. And this is how I am, Drew. Me and Drew align a lot on the same thought process, which is, kind of scary because I didn't think anybody else was that crazy. But kind of done a 180 on him, right? Because he does look like he is more of a foul merchant. But let's start with the Philadelphia 76ers because I have a lot that I kind of want to get into with them because I like that team, but they're dying on a vine just because, now they're 2-12, I believe. 12. The Grizzlies end up becoming 9-7, which is nice. But let's go ahead and go through them real quick. Obviously, Paul George goes down. Caleb Martin got shot during the game. Tyrese Maxey scored 20 points. He had 20 minutes. That was kind of his max, I believe. They were trying to keep him there. And then eight points. He was 0-6 from deep. But I want to talk about two guys because their defense is fine. Their bench is fine. Drummond looks like he's losing his hair, like it's running away from him, like it's going straight up. And he's growing it out, which is the opposite. Like when you start losing it and starts going up, you don't grow it out unless it's going to cover it, like bangs maybe. Like it's worse. But I don't want to judge somebody's hair, right? Whatever. But Joel Embiid, we talked about him, 35 points, 11 rebounds, 10-21, took 21 shots. Jared McCain. Your thoughts on Jared McCain just overall? I love the guy. I'm a Dookie. I'm very biased. There's a lot of reasons I don't like him, but your thoughts on Jared McCain?
Makes me feel like, as the kids would say, a boomer.
Because what? Or because he does TikToks? Like what is?
Yes. I mean, you and me, and listen, this is probably more an indictment on you and me than anything else. But we grew up in an era where you couldn't paint your nails and do TikTok dances and not just get shoved in a locker.
Yeah.
It helps when you're huge, and obviously he's a big dude, plays NBA basketball. Yeah. But yeah, I can't. I'm like, it's one of those things where it's really hard for me to look past it, which is an absurd thing to say. But man, the dude is hooping. The dude can play basketball. Like he can play some basketball. So I've been really impressed. And this is not the only time I've watched him play. Sixers are actually a team I've been able to tune into a little bit. He's looked really good every time that I've watched. Yep. So I have been really impressed, but definitely makes me feel like a boomer.
For sure. And that's the thing is, like, this isn't my first time with him on a team. Like, I'm a Duke fan, and I love his game, and I wanted the Grizzlies to get him. They were drafting too high at 9. There's no way that was happening. But I thought he was a guy that could come in and kind of be a spot shooter, which, as you saw tonight, 3 of 7 from deep, which is a good number, 20 points, 6 of 13 overall, ended up having 5 assists, 2 rebounds. He's a fine guy, but I got them because he's a killer. Like, he will get to his spots. He'll kind of do that running scoop layup like Bane does. And so I love Jared McCain. I don't love the fingernail painting. Never been a big guy on that. I'll paint my daughter's nails. Just but hey, you do you. Whatever. That's the world we live in these days. I will always hate it 100%. But whatever, you do you. But I do have something real quick. Matt Skate News is, when does Doc get fired? I don't know if you know this, but Doc doesn't coach them. So I had to bring that up. So Matt Skate News, he is over in Milwaukee. So if you're just thinking Milwaukee, you're just talking random, whatever, then I'm hoping soon, because I do not like Doc, but he does not coach for Philadelphia anymore.
How about Gershon Yabusele? I looked up how to pronounce that.
Where is he from? He's not French, right? Is he French?
That's French pronunciation. I think
okay.
He is French.
So he was in the when he was in the Olympics, whenever they were playing, France was playing, he like showed out and got his contract because of that Olympic Games, which is awesome. Good story.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome. He's also massive.
Yeah. How big is he?
He's like if Bane had an Isaiah Stewart build.
Yeah, he was on Team Wemby.
Dude, he's
phenomenal.
I don't know how big he is. I'm just watching it. I'm like, he is the biggest dude on an NBA court.
6'8", 265. He's 28 years old. In 2016, he was drafted in the 16th pick in the first round by Boston.
Really?
No idea. So I'm guessing what happened is, just like probably a slow developer went across the pond, maybe, I would assume, because we have not heard his name. I don't remember hearing his name ever, so I imagine he's not played for anybody. But I assume he went across, across the pond, played over there, wherever it might have played, developed his game, got better, and then at that point, on a big stage, getting seen, I think that's big time.
He might be their Yuki.
Maybe they sacrificed him tonight.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that might be their only hope.
Does he get we need to let him know that he's getting sacrificed tonight.
Dude, he's awesome.
He probably doesn't know.
Dude, they keep leaving him. In all seriousness, they kept leaving him open, and he just kept making threes. And I was like, guys, guard him, please. For the love of God, go guard this absolutely jacked dude who you cannot possibly lose. He's a massive human being. He was awesome. He was awesome, man. But
he definitely made
the guy
threes.
I've been most impressed with.
Yeah, definitely a rebounder. So, he was so Art. Look at Art doing homework over here. Shout out to you, buddy.
Art knows ball.
Went from Boston to Europe, played on Real Madrid. So shout out to him. So you guys don't watch EuroLeague, Art? Unfortunately,
I can barely watch American League.
That's terrible. All right, let's go to the Grizzlies a little bit, and let's kind of talk through this, because I have some thoughts on the offense. Shocking, I know, but I had a new development tonight. You know how you watch something and you see it all the time, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and you're like, oh, that's it. A little bit of a teaser there, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's get to the Grizzlies just overall. It was Bane, it was Jaren. I would say Bane controlled the game more than Jaren. Do you feel like that overall?
Yes. Yes.
It just looked like when Jaren scored, it wasn't as momentum building. And I don't, not that it matters, right? Because Jaren ended up having 25 points, which is the most on the Grizzlies compared to Bane's 21. It just felt like it was just hollow, and not in a bad, like that sounds bad, but it's just like it just didn't seem like it gave the but he kind of kept continued to score. So I liked it.
Jaren's felt hollow, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Like Jaren has reached that level where if you don't feel the oomph behind his box score, you feel like it's hollow. But the truth is he made winning plays that mattered all night long. Like people come in and want to talk about, I saw Goon coming in about they need to close without Jaren. Jaren scored all the big points in the fourth quarter. Made all the big plays. Like he was doing great. So big things, great defensively tonight. Fantastic defensively tonight. So he made a ton of winning plays. I'm sorry. But Bane was the one who definitely was in control of the game tonight, was the one who was the focal point. And he had the hot hand. I mean, we talked about it last game. Last game was possibly the worst game he's played since high school.
Bane, yeah.
And then we said, hey, he's going to turn it around. And he's going to be the reason they win a bunch of basketball games. And he's the reason they won that game tonight, right? Like his efforts were what got the team going and sparked the team. So massive night from Bane. But we got other guys.
I saw you grab the notepad, but that boy be hooping. Let's shout out to Jake LaRavia. 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Let me go deeper into this stat if you don't mind.
He damn near cost him the game with the last pass of the game. that was almost really bad. But dude,
real quick, shout out to him. He had a stat in every category.
Playing good basketball, man. I just don't know what he keeps playing solid basketball night in and night out. Like Jake, what we wanted was for him to just be passable enough that you could trade him. And then it was like, hey, just be passable enough that we can throw you in and not die. Hey, just be passable enough that we can go in and you can just be like a net neutral. Now it's like he goes in and he contributes to winning every night. He is doing a ton of stuff. He's making a lot more shots. He looks a lot more confident. He is making winning plays at the rim. Please, God, quit jumping in the air when you don't know who you're passing it to. But that's really the only complaint I have. He's also boxing out Joel Embiid in the paint and going toe-to-toe with Andre Drummond in the paint.
Yeah.
He's playing really, really good basketball. I mean, I'm not sure where he fits when his wing rotation is healthy, but he has made it where these other guys have to come back and earn their minutes, right? Like you don't just get to walk back into a spot because you don't have anyone else there to do it, right? So I've been super impressed with Jake, and I think that if anyone needs to eat crow on that, it's me, and I'm more than happy to. He has looked awesome this year.
Jake is catching a lot of love, but one guy who's been on not Love Island, but on Jake Island, and it has been Drew of the $2 Sports Show every Friday. He is live at 3 o'clock Central. Make sure you go check out him and Rusty over there. But he's saying he's the only one, but he did call some dummies. We're finally coming around. Don't call me a dummy. I will say I am not completely sold on Jake just yet. Okay. And let me preface that with, is he playing good right now? Yes. Is he a key contributing piece that you have to bring back next year? I saw somebody talking about, and even Sherman here was saying he needs more minutes. Somebody was saying that he needs to, be brought back on long-term piece. I get that. And I see that. But my issue is I don't know if he is a guy that you can bring back if you're fully healthy, because that's what I want to see. You're talking about events, Gigi, Ja, and I know we have Smart on this roster. We think he might be sick all year. We don't really know what's happening with him, but we have those four just in general that should play ahead of Jake in general. And at that point, does he get on the floor when we're fully healthy? Now, if there's some consolidation moves, so be it. If he pushes somebody out of the way, such as if he's pushing Jalen Wells out of the way, if he's pushing Santi out of the way, if he's kind of holding back Vince because he's playing so well, that's a good problem to have. I just want to see more of that to be able to see if he's long term. Just sign a new contract.
Yeah, he's got to. I mean, same thing. We've seen a lot of guys play really well and then all of a sudden not play well. Right, that happens a lot. I'm not saying that he's locked in long term on this team.
Yeah.
I am saying he looks like a guy who belongs on the NBA court.
Yeah. Okay.
And Sherman says, y'all have PTSD? Yes. The PTSD does give me a bias view. There was times where he has been unwatchable on an NBA court. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not completely sold yet. And listen, this team has way too many wings. Somebody's got to go.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Jake, but there's a good chance it is Jake. Right, let's be honest. There's a good chance that when they are picking their wings, Jalen Wells, Vince, Gigi take priority over Jake.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If he keeps playing like this, that might not be the case. But as it stands, I don't think it's been enough yet. personally.
For sure. Well, and that's kind of what I'm looking at now is, we're talking about Jake and really who he is and who he's becoming. But my issue overall is the fact that when we get healthy, what happens? Is he as good and limited in that role? And that's what we see. And honestly, like there's going to be a lot of questions to be answered, but there's also going to be some answers because what do we like? BC looks like he's very limited, like he doesn't fit this offense, like he's obviously very struggling. The problem is like you have so many guys that have questions surrounding them. What do you do? Because Marcus Smart has looked odd this year.
I haven't seen him.
Exactly. And we haven't seen him since he's been in Memphis because, like, honestly, he's been hurt for most of the time. When he's been on the court, he's been fine, but I don't know if he's long-term, if he's meshed. Jitty's still on the roster. I talked about BC. We don't know about some of those end of the bench guys, but like eventually they have to be the guy who kind of forces himself into this lineup. Who's that going to be? That's a good problem to have. That is so tough and just sets you up to just be criticized and crucified as a coach, because that is a terrible spot to be in, because you're going to tinker with the offense. And I promise you will make so many bad decisions, just like Blackney and DJ saying, they might actually get TJ's head to explode, because it's going to be very tough to figure out who's the best guys to put forward.
Yep. And to Keith's point, we're all super in on Gigi. We think Gigi's going to be an incredible basketball player. We still haven't seen him with a fully healthy roster and what that's going to look like. So Gigi's not going to be the guy that goes, by the way.
No.
When they get solid, there's 0% chance. Potential is just through the absolute roof. And at some point, he's going to be an amazing player for this team. But how long it takes that to happen within the full roster remains to be seen. I am pretty sold on it. Won't take him long personally, but it's a variable. Let's get this out of the way because I want to be mostly positive tonight. Brother Brandon Clarke is lost. He's lost. Somebody's going to eventually figure out that rather than having Brandon shoot a corner three, you should just hold the ball for 24 seconds. Because at least if you hold the ball for 24 seconds, it's a dead ball turnover, and it's not going to turn into a fast break for the other team. Brother, if we're going to get mad at Xavier Tillman for shooting threes,
God, yes.
Who, by the way, made a three to send the Grizzlies to the actual playoffs once upon a time, I can get mad at Brandon Clarke for shooting corner threes.
I don't know why he still does it.
Dude, it's just one of those things where it's like he has been empowered to do so, and now he should be unempowered to do so. You get one per game. You get one, and it has to be from the corner.
Well, that's what he's pretty much doing for the most part.
He shot one from the wing tonight, dude, and my brain exploded.
How many did you shoot tonight?
At least two. 3.
Why?
Two from the corner, one from the wing. But listen, that's honestly that's been the Memphis Grizzlies in the John Morant era. The Grizz Next Gen era, they've just let people shoot threes left and right. What really bugs me about BC is, dude, he just gets stuck in limbo, man. There's too many times where, not necessarily offensively, but defensively, like he's just sitting in the paint and there's a guy wide open in the corner and it's his guy, right? Yeah. He just gets lost all the time. And this has been something that has been a problem for Brandon since he came into the league.
Right.
And it's super disheartening to see it still be a problem. And it happens all the time. And we talked about it last game. Anytime you play someone that has really good off-ball movement, he gets lost. And it's just, you can't keep doing that. Yeah. There's going to be communication issues because you got guys working back in. All that's going to happen. I think there's a reason consistently BC is having that issue, right? So, I don't know, man. It makes him unplayable for Taylor. For all the things he does well, the negatives are outweighing the positives because of that right now.
And that's the problem is like you want to play the guy because you have trust, especially on a team that, let's just be honest, there's a lot of guys, just go down the list. You have, Wells, You have Smart that, when he's been there, he's a vet, but he's not been in the system that long. You're talking about Edey, Cam Spencer, like all these guys, Jay Huff, they haven't been on this team very long to know the ins and outs of everything. When you have a guy that knows the ins and outs of your defense, a guy who plays well with Jaren, you want to give him a chance because, one, you paid him and you know what he's done for you. It's just you kind of eventually have to look in the mirror and be like, all right, this isn't right. Whether we move on from you or whether we just let you take a step back for the short term, and maybe when the next time we call on you because we need you, you can have your chance to force your way onto this lineup again. There has to be something at some point. It has to be a decision. The problem with that is nobody's healthy, and so that's the other. That's the dichotomy of this is like how do you play a guy, but then like we kind of have to play a guy because we only really have 9 or 10 guys healthy. And so I hate it. It sucks. I just wish he would find his way not outside the 3-point line.
That's the thing is BC can contribute to any NBA roster that he's on. Like people who want to trade him, maybe because he doesn't fit what the Grizzlies want to do anymore, you can trade him. You're going to be super bummed when you see him go to any NBA team and thrive because he is still a really good NBA player.
I think next year. Maybe into this year. I
think
it's gonna take time.
I'm not saying it's going to happen this year. He's still coming back from an Achilles injury, right? Yeah. But he can contribute, but it doesn't work if you stick him out at the 3-point line because he also can't drive. He can't dribble well enough to drive. If he drives, what he does is he picks up his dribble under the basket, and then you're praying he finds an outlet. Yeah. Right. So it just doesn't work. It's got to be a second unit thing where you have what you used to have, right? A few guys are on the perimeter, but then just a ton of ball movement all around, driving to the paint, working open shots for him. Yep. So I still like BC a lot. Obviously, I think he's a really good NBA player. It just doesn't work with the way they're trying to do it right now.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to show one more guy a little bit more love because that's what we do. Show people love. Let's get to the player of the game. The Grizz 901 player of the game tonight has to be our guy, Desmond Bane, coming in with 21 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and finally 5 3-pointers. Shout out Des Bane, man. What you got, Nate?
Fine incoming. That dude's going to get fined, but it was worth it. It's worth it for him to get it. Looked like himself tonight. Same thing we said last game. Like he was eventually going to find it. I didn't know he was going to find it that fast and knock the rust off that fast. But that is what Des looks like when Desmond Bane is Desmond Bane. Love to see it. They need it with Ja out. They need it with the wing situation. They got to have somebody that can be in the backcourt that can be in control like that, and the defenses have to respect like that. Yeah. So love it. Love seeing it from him. Really solid game all around. Excited to see him knock that rust off.
I see from Art in the chat. Very funny. I'm going to try to stay away from it so I don't get fined as well. But I will say that we're looking at the plus minuses, and we've talked about this oftentimes. He was a plus 14. Him and Jalen Wells were the only plus guys in the starters. Wells was plus 2. The other guy that I wanted to give a shout to earlier was Jay Huff. He was a plus 16 in his 14 minutes. And so shout out to Desmond Bane because he obviously has been playing very well and expect him to play very well as we kind of move forward. Nate had somebody ask about your drink a little bit. So what are we drinking?
Little Blade and Bow action.
I like Blade and Bow.
Underrated, very underrated bottle. Highly recommend. It's pricier than your standard Jack, but it is not as expensive as your Balvenie or Macallan from my whiskey enjoyers out there. So
Macallan's kind of an Irish whiskey, though.
Scotch.
Scotch, whatever.
Scotch.
That thing.
Not as expensive as an Eagle Rare. There we go.
There you
if
go.
we want to get back into bourbon. But
it's
only like $40 bottle, man. It's really good.
I think it's 50 here, 46.99, 50-ish. So I think it might be cheaper here. But anyway, enough about Blade and Bow. I do have some other stuff we want to get to as we transition back. I think that we're looking at a guy in Desmond Bane who has been good, and he's going to keep getting better. I'm just glad that he finally got away from what he's kind of like, what's been ailing him, because it has been a shot. We talked about it last game. It has been bad, but somebody who hasn't been ailing is this guy right here. Better Days Ahead. If you don't know Better Days Ahead, you don't know gambling. He's a guy of mine. Mark is his name. 1 of 17. 1 of 17. That's BC. 1 of 17 on the season. So if anybody's wondering what the stats are, 1 of 17 on the season. So thank you, Mark, for finding that. I wanted to bring that back up before we got too far. Let me get to the offense before we kind of transition over to some Grizz trivia stuff. We might actually switch it. We might do the look ahead before we do Grizz trivia, because I need to look at one more thing before I do Grizz trivia. But hold on, is it bad with Temu Waifu going? What's going on? Is my Wi-Fi going bad?
It's not great, but I'll assume it's me, to be completely honest with you.
I can go out and come back in if it's that bad.
No, it's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad. I guess somebody let us know if it is that bad. It's not that bad on my end.
If it's not that bad, I'd love to keep going. But if it is that bad, let me know. I will make sure that I go out and go back in. I think there's probably a glitch in there. But I did check it a few minutes ago. It looked strong, but right now it just dipped again. So I don't know. I keep dipping. You just froze a couple of times. Well, that would be an issue.
Well, what we're going to do is go to commercial break, because I got no desire to lead this solo for a minute.
Yeah, we'll be good. But one thing I want to talk about, we will take commercial tonight. That way I can see if I can leave and come back, see what see if I can do better than what Ryan is. He's coming in. I was looking at the game tonight, and what I saw in the offense, and I kind of want to hit on this for a couple of minutes. The offense, it looks like there's too much movement. And I know that sounds like too much movement, because what's happening is the guys they end up running into the same positions. And that is the issue. So if you see a lot of movement, maybe somebody goes into the post and he's looking to kick it out, and then you see two guys run. Well, they're running to the same area, or the guy kicks it out and then perfect, AC Surreal. Thank you. It is movement with no purpose. Like it seems like they're both, like I saw tonight, Jay Huff and Jaron were both going over to, into the paint, and they both ran literally into the middle of the paint. We're within probably 3 or 4 feet from each other, and just looked up and was like, okay, we're too close to each other. And I coached my daughter tonight, their team, and I was expressing that concern of, I like the movement, but we need to have movement with purpose. So go to an area because nobody's there and do it quickly. But honestly, it just seems like we're free flowing, which is great. But it just seems like if you don't have a guy that dominates the ball like a Ja Morant, in honesty, it looks like it's just kind of chaos and it's not going the right direction, which is creating too many stupid turnovers, in my opinion.
Yep, and that is exactly what I was going to go to, which is that's why the turnovers happen, because there's a lot of times a guy will have a shot to be able to take, and then they pass it up because they're just kind of deciding to move it again, see if they can get a better shot. And it's like, nah, take the open shot. So 100% spot on. Santi was great again tonight, by the way. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
It says 2 people consistently cutting to the same area of the off the weak side, and that's exactly what it was. Is they were coming back to the ball, into it to get better shot. And I know you want to come to the ball. The problem is it's just too many people going the right direction, and it ends up it just looks terrible at times. But anyway, all right. Well, give us a second. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I'm going to transition out, and when we get back, we're going to have the look ahead first. A lot of people miss it, and so we're going to do the look ahead first, as we always do. If you'll go ahead and make sure you have that teed up, because I will not be here, I hope. Be right back.
Joe Mazzulla says he wants some rule changes. He wants the league to add a power play where a guy would like sit out, like potentially for a possession. And he wants to bring back fighting. He said the biggest thing that we rob people of from an entertainment standpoint is that you can't fight anymore. I wish you could bring back fighting.
No, that tells me?
What?
They don't got shit else to do because they just win so easily.
He's bored.
They got nothing else to do. This is like every other coach in the NBA, the other 29 coaches in the NBA are trying to figure out how can my team get better? Right. You know how can we ascend to being a championship team? Joe Mazzulla sitting back like, bring back fighting.
Let's bring back fighting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and know what? How about we take one player off the court and see can you play 5-on-4 long enough and can you score? Bro, that means your team is that good that you literally got to sit back and create.
Think of rule changes.
And try to create a disadvantage to yourself so that the game can be even. Your team is that much better than the rest of the teams. They literally has come up with some off-the-wall shit because we're that good. Like, I mean, look, we go into the office, I say, well, put forth the game plan. It's like, how about we not play this guy tonight? You think they can get close to us if we don't play him?
Man, Joe was
Joe, 29 other people wish they had your issues right now.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Looking ahead to Saturday night's matchup at the Chicago Bulls for our Memphis Grizzlies. The Bulls are 1-5 at home. That one win is against the Orlando Magic. The Bulls are also going to be off a back-to-back playing Friday night against the Atlanta Hawks. And the matchup against the Grizzlies on Saturday will be their third game in 4 days. So a really nice rest advantage spot for the Grizzlies. And the Bulls' wins and losses so far this year, in their wins averaging 122 points per game, in their losses only scoring 112 points per game. Shooting is about the same field goal percentage from the field. The big difference for them, which we know well from the first matchup against the Chicago Bulls in their comeback win, the difference was their three-pointers made in their wins and losses. In their wins, they're making about 18 threes per game, shooting almost 43%. In their losses, they're only making, almost making about 15 threes per game. So only a 3 threes made difference, but a percentage difference of 34.3%. So let's play a game of Would You Believe Me? Would you believe me if I told you that the Bulls were the #1 team in the NBA in pace? Well, that is true. The Bulls are the #1 team in the NBA right now in pace. Second is the Memphis Grizzlies. So the Memphis Grizzlies owe the Chicago Bulls team for the lead that they gave up at home. So let's see if the Grizzlies can build a big lead behind some poor shooting from the Chicago Bulls and actually hold on to it this time, and maybe with the rest advantage blow out a very mediocre Chicago Bulls team.
All right, I am back on the wrong side of things. We're going to switch that around. It doesn't look like my internet is much better, so it is what it is. So you know what? Suck it, internet people. But we're going to go ahead and get past that. But tonight the Grizzlies do win that game tonight against the 76ers, 117-111. I was hoping my Wi-Fi was going back because I feel like it was stuck for a second. But looking ahead to the Bulls, Nate, we owe them. After last time, let them come back, and they shot the lights out. Obviously, that's what we were listening to with Ryan. Can't think of it enough. It's always good to get a little bit of an insight. So if you're missing that, then you're not staying towards the end of the show, because that's when we're doing that. But we might be we're going to try to move it around. But there will be, two teams that are crazy pace. It should be incredible. It should be a good game. But your thoughts on the Bulls?
I mean, they've got a bunch of good players, right? They got a bunch of good guys who can light you up. And that's what happened to the Grizzlies last time, right? They had a really big lead. They were playing really well, and then they let Kobe White and Zach LaVine get hot, and that was that. That was the end of the game, right? So you have to play really aggressive point of attack defense like you did tonight. And you have to come with that effort tonight. And you got to go for a full 48, right? So the Grizzlies did a great job of winning a bunch of 50-50 balls tonight. Everybody was boxing out. Everyone was focused on the boards. And everyone was focused on playing really good defense. And they had a game plan and tried to stick to it.
Yeah.
Right, like, you're not going to light us up from three because we know we can outscore you if you don't light us up from three. You got to have the same mentality with the Bulls, because if the Bulls don't light you up from three, they're not beating you unless you suck. Like, you have to really suck. So if you can run them off the 3-point line, you should be able to win that game.
Right.
Got to play discipline.
Well, we're looking, just tonight, just overall, the Bulls took on the Milwaukee Bucks. It was an away game for them. It was 122-106. But if you look through this, they shot 37.8% from 3-point, 17 to 45, 45 3-pointers, 45. My God, that's crazy. It's gonna be that type of a night. You kind of got to run them off of the 3-point line. And you're talking about, they had Dalen Terry, who normally doesn't do, much for them, scored 10 points, but it was Zach LaVine went 4-7 from deep, 27 points. Kobe White went 2 of 8 with 14. Nikola Vucevic had a down game, went 2 of 7 from deep, 14, 6 and 6. And then Torrey Craig went 3 of 7 from deep. And so it's gonna see, what they're going to do. Can they run them off the 3-point line? And if they can, that's how they're going to win the game. I don't think there's going to be an issue with the rebounding. I think we'll out-rebound them. It's just, are we getting the ball out of the basket, or are we actually catching rebounds and going?
If the Grizzlies come with the requisite effort, they'll win that game.
Yeah, we owe them for sure.
Well, I was going to say asterisk, unless they just shoot like that terrible from three. Like, if you shoot 19% from three, then you could shoot yourself out of any game. But you've got the talent to take it to that team. They have nothing at all for Jaren Jackson Jr. If Desmond Bane is playing half as well as he did tonight, that will be enough to get you across. And then, guys, you just have to have a couple of guys make some shots. But it's all about effort, man. Same thing. I thought it was crap effort the game before against the Nuggets. If you come out with effort like you did tonight against the Sixers, you'll win the game.
No doubt. Well, I think we're gonna kind of get to the point where we're gonna put these teams away, and I think that Nuggets game where we played so bad, you end up a little bit eye-opening, and you kind of get kicked in the teeth a little bit as fans, but mainly the players and the staff, where you kind of look and say, we can't have that. And you kind of come together. Those come together moments are big. And so I think that's what we saw. I hope that's what we saw against the Nuggets, because it was an ugly game tonight. Even though they allowed them to come back, I actually liked it. I didn't like that they came back. I like that when they did come back, it made us play in crunch time and kind of do something different and kind of have to show up and say, hey, we've let them come back. We have to stand up and kind of just shut the water off. And they did that tonight, which sometimes we just kind of let a team come all the way back and we just get, killed in the end.
It made my heart rate go a little higher than I would have liked, but I also had Jaren points and Embiid rebounds tonight, so I needed them to play those extra minutes at the end. So
I feel you.
I'd take that.
Well, speaking of betting, my favorite bet of the season, it's only missed 2 games the entire season. It is Nikola Vucevic, 5 first quarter points. Vucime, 5 first quarter points. So if that's something you want to play, I play it every night. Played it again tonight. And he hit again. He hit a 3-pointer and a 2-pointer. So if you want to play that, if you're a betting person, please enjoy it with me. But let's go ahead and get into your favorite segment in honor of Taylor Jenkins. Nate. Our coach tonight, we haven't heard much about it, but our coach tonight became the all-time winningest coach for the Memphis Grizzlies with 215 wins. So I'm curious, do you know the coaches that are top 5 in wins?
Taylor Jenkins.
That is right. That is right. You're the wiener.
Who Desmond Bane said is his favorite coach he's ever had, by the way, after tonight's game. Just throwing that out there for y'all to then volleyball around however you wish. Hollins is 2. I think Jaeger is 3.
Oh, you're doing these in order. Okay.
Hubie, 4.
This one surprised me. The only reason I did it is because 4 surprised me.
It's not Fizdale, is it?
Fizdale's 6 with how many wins do you think Fizdale had? Fizdale did 101 games.
I got no idea, man.
50. Like, it's not that bad, but man, he is hated.
Fratello.
Mike Fratello had 95 wins, 83 losses, 178 games. Look at you doing the top 5.
Did I get the top 5?
Yeah, because Hubie's 5.
Oh, you said like he wasn't in there at all. Okay,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, he is.
Okay, good.
Do you know the other ones? Could you name any more?
No, I think that might be the only coaches that I could name for the Memphis Grizzlies in all seriousness.
So JB Bickerstaff was, he took over for a little bit. He was 7th.
I can't believe I forgot about JB.
He had 48 wins. The guy who came over or I guess he first started when the Grizzlies very new, Sidney Lowe, ended up from 2001, 2003. So he transitioned in. So you're obviously you don't go that far back. I get it. It was not Jackie Moon. 9th is Mark Ivaroni. That guy sucked. I was actually working for it. Yeah, Mike Ivaroni. Goon the Shooter, putting you up for sure on that one. So I was working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We were actually delivering cars and different things to the Grizzlies. We had a very good relationship. When I was there at the downtown location, for whatever reason, we were delivering cars, vans, stuff to them periodically, and got to meet Mike Ivaroni a few times. I was not a fan. Dude drove a hatchback, I think a hatchback Subaru. It's just shocking because you're seeing all these nice cars, and then the coach's spot was a hatchback Subaru, and it was totally fitting for him. But anyway, so then Brian Hill, who I was not a big fan of Brian Hill. He had 154 games, 31 wins. Brian Winters, 96, 87, way before, obviously before the Grizzlies, 23 wins. Tony Baroni, who was the guy who came in late, 16 wins in 52 games. Stu Jackson, he was way before the actual Memphis Grizzlies. And then Johnny Davis in 2009. I don't know about Johnny Davis taking over. I'm guessing he just was there for 2 games because a coach got fired.
Well, and they went to play at Wisconsin. But Tony Baroni, first off, sounds like a cereal. That sounds like a cereal from the 90s.
Tony Baroni, cool dude. Great scout.
I was going to say, I do want to give a shout out to Jay. I can't believe I forgot about JB. We actually did work for his family when I was still living in Memphis. Bickerstaffs are incredibly nice people, genuinely awesome people. So you don't always know that about people, and I got to see it firsthand. So shout out to JB. Glad that he's got the Pistons kind of turning that around this year.
Do you know anything about anybody else?
No, that's it. I'm not going to. I have
kidding.
Already given away too much.
I am completely kidding.
I'm already given away too much. I actually do know things about other people, but
I know.
The only thing I actually know personally is D'Anthony Melton is exactly as nice as you think he would be. Dude is awesome.
Shout out to Crows.
Prayers up to Melton, by the way.
Yeah, Melton went down with an ACL injury, having ACL surgery. I know very much about that right now. Not me personally, but my wife. She's on the mend, having literally her second good day in the last probably 8 days. Finally, just because listen, I will talk through injuries. I went through some injuries in college. It was, it was nothing on that level ever. But my injuries, you kind of get a mental block and you're just man, F this. Like the work to get back, which the Grizzlies are going through as well. The work to get back is so mentally draining, more than what you have to do and actually like stress on your body. It's the mental stuff. And that's what my wife said tonight. She goes, honestly, first good day, maybe yesterday a little bit, first really good mental day I've had. And it was, it's good. So shout out to my wife, but shout out to and prayers up to D'Anthony Melton and the rest of our guys that are kind of struggling a little bit. So, it's tough. So this game tonight, I think the Grizzlies are officially bouncing back. I think. Do you think this is the time where they finally kind of get past a little bit of how they played? Because I think that's kind of where we're looking at now.
It felt like it. But I mean, such a big part of them getting past everything is Desmond Bane playing like Desmond Bane with the current roster, right? Like it's so hard to have the injury problems they're having now and not have two of Ja, Dez, and Jaren playing really well. And obviously you don't have Ja at all. So you hope that that's a turnaround for Dez because you're going to need him and Jaren to carry most of the load most nights and be able to kind of bounce off of each other. So, but everybody felt confident tonight. And again, a lot of it is effort leading to that confidence.
For sure. All right. So I love Grizz trivia. I think it's fun. Me and Nate have been working to come up with some different things, a little behind the scenes on what we could do. King Meeks, this is an exceptional idea. He wants to know, can we do a Where Are They Now, a Memphis Grizzlies coaching edition? So maybe where are they, working now, whatever. And so to spin off of that, I have some things kind of working up my sleeve a little bit. So if you have ideas like this, I think are phenomenal. There's a couple ideas that I have seen that I want to do. They are completely stolen from other shows, but they will be hopefully better and our spin on it. So we'll get it, but we'll put a little spin on it. So that way we can have a little bit more fun because I like doing the Grizz trivia, but a lot of times I forget to do it. But when I do it, I can't really find enough good stats right now this early into the season to try to really kind of figure out and make it more fun. So we are going to definitely go that direction. And then I think on losses, I think we're going to open the show with a good 5-minute overreaction segment. I think that's fun. That came from Wayno last time. And I think that's going to be a good time. But Blackney and DJ, who he play for? Yes, that is the idea that we're going to be going with. So it'll be a good time. It should be fun. But I think that's all the show we got tonight. Tonight was a little bit different. It was a little, honestly, we're not going to go over the hour, which is, great because we have a long night ahead of me. I have a lot of prep work I have to do for my show in the morning. So gonna have to get out of here. But Nate, your final thoughts on tonight. The Grizzlies, you're not going to be here Monday. Ryan will be joining us. And so should be a fun show having him back on the show. But your thoughts on the night and kind of moving forward.
Happy win. Ethical basketball wins the day versus unethical basketball. Tale as old as time.
Yeah. Well, they're hopefully they're playing well. Mark, better days ahead. Thank you for hanging out with us. Tonight was weird. I don't know why my internet has kind of got me frazzled over here. And King Meeks, Duke is sleeping with my oldest tonight. She's in the bed, cuddled up. And yes, Chuck, 75-7, still alive.
Yes.
But that's going to be it for us tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with us. The Grizzlies finally get a win, making us feel better about the night overall. And so it should be a good time moving forward. We will not be here for Saturday's show, so make sure you kind of tune in for that. Enjoy it, but also enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your families as we will be enjoying our families as well. But that's all we got. We'll see you back Monday night. Be nice and tell your friends.